Hi, good evening, everybody, or good late afternoon. So happy to be here today. My name is Esna, and it's actually Google Cloud's first time at EarthJump. So a big thank you to KBank and also Beacon VC, which have been amazing co-organizers for our startup program, Earth Katalyst. So I know it's a bit late in the day, and I think some of us may be feeling a bit tired. So we would like to do like a small stretching exercise. So maybe if you think about how many Google products you use on a daily basis. So put your hands up if you use 3 Google products on a daily basis. Maybe Gmail, YouTube, so, okay, I see quite a lot of people. Okay, keep your hands raised if you use 5 Google products on a daily basis. Okay, 7. So let's say you use maybe calendar. Okay, I see some people raise. Okay, 9 Google products. Okay, there's 2 people raise. 11. Okay, maybe 10 or 11, but we have a Google Power user over there. Maybe you can find me for a little prize later. So actually, if you're like me and you use Google Maps, it's actually one of my favorite solutions to use on a daily basis. Without it, I'll be even more lost in life than I already am. But we all know that it is actually a key pillar of our sustainability efforts as well. But it's easier said than done, right? With sustainability, I think it is really a data challenge that includes and needs a lot of collaboration and innovation from different stakeholders. And this recent report by Climate Watch actually shows the top 5 to 6 industries in terms of greenhouse gas emissions. So I think I was here yesterday. There were a lot of amazing talks. Agriculture is one of the biggest in Thailand that gives out 7.26 billion tons of carbon dioxide equivalents. Second place, we have transport and gray. And in first place, maybe not such a good thing, but in energy, it gives out almost 22 billion tons of carbon dioxide equivalents. And I think a lot of us here today are here because we care about the environment and we want to do something about it. But I think it's also our responsibility to communicate to our stakeholders that doing better is not just an ethical choice that some people can afford to make or not, but it actually gives you concrete business gains. And I think a lot of our stakeholders or customers want to do better when it comes to doing green. But actually, a recent study found that almost 3/4 of people don't actually know how to use it or how to make that happen. So for Google, I think we are really, really proud and excited to work alongside our industry to use AI in terms of how do we use, for example, increasing crop yields by up to 20%, or even for food wastage supply chains, decreasing that by around 50%, and in our transport systems to decrease carbon emissions by 60%, all being smarter with data and with AI. And this is where I also want to talk about how are we using geospatial and satellite imagery to take that to the next level. Some of you may know that Google Maps, again, one of my favorite products, it was founded in 2005. And actually, a bit more lesser-known fact is that it was born out of our Sydney campus. So a few years ago, I had the privilege of being in our Sydney office, and I saw a replica of one of, the cars that had a camera stuck on top of it, going around, taking 360 images that gives us the Google Maps that we know now. That was 15 years ago. And in the time since then, we have actually been enhancing our suite to make it easier for all of us, all of you. Our mission is actually to make the world's information universally accessible and useful. And we've been adding on. 3 years ago, Google Earth Engine was made commercially available. Before that, only research institutes mainly were able to use it. But now, any institution can do that, or any organization, or startup, or corporation, big or small. So you can see that these are some of the use cases that you can already think of and bring to life just with geospatial imagery. For example, sustainable sourcing, which you hear from one of our startups later, protecting natural resources, detecting environmental impacts, modeling climate risk, or even increasing precision agriculture. And something that we may not necessarily think of, even things like monitoring algae blooms in our water for health-related purposes. And this is just one example. One of our great partners, Unilever, is actually using Earth Engine to trace the source of its palm oil, and with that, they can make eco-friendly business decisions validated by data just with Earth Engine. And of course, with Google Maps platform, we just announced this about 3 months ago, I believe. So Weather Next is actually powered by Google DeepMind and Google Research, giving everybody access to state-of-the-art AI predictions for extreme weather. I think some of you may know, even in Southeast Asia, we have different periods of monsoon. So for example, you can be modeling that with Weather Next now. We also have a really cool feature that is solar API. So if you're deciding where to put your next solar panel, you want to, assess ROI on your solar farms, you can actually now have access to raw solar information from any town, any neighborhood in the world. And next up, we also have air quality to monitor the pollutant types and concentrations in real time, but also on a 30-day history basis. And I love Bangkok. I love coming back here. The food is amazing. The people are always so nice and so lovely. But I think we have to admit that the traffic congestion in Bangkok is also crazy. I came here on a motorbike because there's just no way getting around with a car on time. I'll probably be late for today. And Bangkok always ranks on the top 10 cities or most congested cities in the world. But it's not the only city that has this problem. Congestion costs hundreds of billions a year for economies when workers, students are stuck in traffic, impacting productivity of cities. And that's why actually we have now Project Greenlight, where we are using AI to model traffic patterns and also reduce stop-and-go traffic, improve flows in cities. So we're actually piloting this with about 10 to 20 cities in the world right now. And of course, it's been a long journey. It hasn't always been easy. In 2017, we made a commitment that we will be 100% renewable energy. And by 2030, our goal is that we'll be 24/7 carbon-free energy. So some of you may have seen the news that we have made a $1 billion investment announcement into Thailand for a data region here, which I'm personally extremely excited about. But that's a high calling to make sure that our data centers are also going green all the time. And supporting startups is definitely very important to us as well. We do have green accelerators around the world, especially in North America and Europe. For example, we had a program just for energy, just for nature, and just for climate change. So we were like, how do we bring that closer to home here in Southeast Asia? So that's why I'm really excited that we have been journeying with 13 top startups across Southeast Asia, where for the first time ever, we had an ESG-focused program together with Beacon VC. So once again, we would like to thank the team from Beacon VC who have been really working hard with us to make this happen. And you will hear a bit more from the startups later on. So then I think the big question today is how can we work together to leverage AI for sustainability? I think we come from all different kinds of backgrounds. Some of you may be from smaller startups or bigger corporates, no matter what your size. Do scan this QR code. We would love to have a follow-up conversation with you. Let us know what are you building. Let us know what are the biggest problem statements that you're tackling. So I'll just let this linger for a while more. And next up, I would also want to introduce our colleagues from Navigis, who are actually one of the largest geospatial technology partners that we have. They have a huge presence here in APAC. And I gave you a bit of a teaser about Earth Engine. And now, if you could join me putting your hands together to welcome Randy of Navigis to share more of Earth Engine. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Esna. I have this. Good afternoon, Bangkok. My name is Randy. And I'll be talking about Earth Engine, and I'll be co-presenting with my colleague here, Tin Nguyen from Vietnam. So I'm actually from the Philippines, and this is my first time here in Bangkok. So thank you very much for welcoming us here. So right now, with the topic of chaos, we live in this era where planetary change is accelerating both politically, environmentally, socially. And our ability to make sense of this chaos depends on how we observe and analyze data. So what do we need is authoritative data, which Earth Engine can provide us. So in this report that I read from the World Economic Forum, so we have an opportunity to have or to use Earth observation data to potentially drive 3.8 trillion with a T, not a billion, in economic benefit from 2023 up to 2030 while positively impacting climate and nature. And that's through like different use cases that I'll show you later. Okay, so what industries will most value to gain in this Earth observation data? So we have, of course, the agriculture, which composed of like more than 50%. Okay, and then electricity and utilities, the government and the public sector, insurance and financial services, mining, oil and gas, and supply chain and transportation. So we've heard a lot of agricultural use cases. So we are very much in luck because we can really drive agriculture and gain the most value from it. Okay, so Earth Engine, who among here are users of Google Maps and Google Earth? Just a quick show of hands. Right. Okay. So Google Earth, when they first started it, we just want to see our house in Google Earth, right? But now, since Google opened up this amazing tool, we can actually get several data sets, have a compute engine with it, develop applications from it, and get applications that are ready-made that we can use already. So it's not just an analytical tool, it's a vast data catalog, and there's a wide community of people and developers using it right now. So you have this sample data in the data catalog. You have the Landsat Sentinel satellite data, MODIS, you have vector data, of course, the terrain and land cover, and weather and climate. So you have 1,000+ public data sets that you can use, and we have like 90+ petabytes of data that you can use readily available if you use Google Earth Engine. So it's the same data, it's the same platform that runs the Google search and your YouTube. No? So you know that this is robust. And as I mentioned, developers will be gladly use this because it has JavaScript and Python that you can use readily available with this Earth Engine platform. Okay, so the readily application that you can use right now these are just an example. So Ocean Time Series Investigator, Mosaic Editor, and the likes. Okay, so we know that Earth is moving, living, and breathing. So Earth Engine has several data sets that you can go back to since 50 years from now, right? These are just examples of, this is a GIF created in Earth Engine. So this data shows you the Mindering River in Peru. It shows the changing river undulations. And then this one is a Amazon forest deforestation from the 1990s to 2015. As you can see, there's a vast difference from the 1990s to 2015. And this one is very interesting from China. You have the urbanization data. As you can see, the urban sprawl really just covered the whole city. And this one is a recent data that my colleague Tin pulled up. This is like 3 months ago. No? So this is the Bangkok data. You can see cloud covers, and you can see clear skies here. Also, you have the terrain and atmosphere data that's readily available. Okay, so the three most important data, or the data that most available for us, is the daily MODIS update. This is satellite data that the satellites can capture every day. This one is a Landsat data and the Sentinel data. So what's the difference between the three? The difference mainly in the resolution, how they are captured, and the temporal frequency. Temporal frequency is how frequent they are captured from the satellite. So when you use the MODIS, you have the daily updates. For the Landsat, it's 16 days. For Sentinel data, it's between 5 to 12 days. So yeah, it has different use cases, and my colleague Tin will gladly tell you about it. This one is just a sample of how you can use Google Earth Engine to track global forest change. So you can see here, and you can actually Google it, and then you can go to these applications. This one is a Sentinel visualization application where you can see like infrared, the one in red, it's the vegetation. The one at the bottom is the true color vegetation, and the land and water visualization. So it's just a simple code, and then you can run it through Google Earth Engine. Okay, so from climate resilience using Google Earth Engine, it unlocks insights with scientific credibility. For ESG, environment, social, and governance, so for environment, you can use it for deforestation and crop health monitoring, different monitoring for carbon emissions. For social, you can use this for urban and heat disaster vulnerability maps or other risk mapping that you may have in your companies. And of course, flood risk tools. For governance, you can have like your ESG reporting dashboards. You can do dashboards in application with Google Earth Engine, and it can support the regulatory compliance within your companies and maybe your own projects. Okay, so that's it for me. I want to introduce my colleague Tin Nguyen that will show you more about use cases for Google Earth Engine.
Yes, good evening, everyone. When I was a student, there are a lot of steps in order to run a remote sensing and GIS application. So I need to download a lot of software, and also very difficult to get the satellite imagery. But recently, using the Google Engine, it's very easy for you to run remote sensing and GIS application. Let me just show you some example of using the Google Engine. So the first example here you can use is for deforestation. So recently, the global demand for the deforestation-free products is increasing. So if you want to export your agricultural product into EU, so you need to make sure that your farm is not in the deforestation field. So how can you know that? Using Google Engine, you can access the vast data set from the Landsat and also the Sentinel, up to the Sentinel. So you can know that what was your field. So it solves a lot of problems. So you can see here in the screen that the deforestation in Cambodia due to the rubber plantation. Another example you can see here is for the water resource management. Water is a very important factor. So we all care about water because it's a very key element for the plant growth. And as you can see in the screen, using a satellite imagery, both this one is for the optical one, but we can also use the radar imagery from Google Engine. So for the cloudy days, we can use the radar imagery for defining the water surface area. So we can use this in order to check how the water changes over time for a very long time. And also we can also training the model in order to predict also. Another example for the Earth Engine use case for monitoring the carbon emission. As you can see here, we have the satellite imagery, but we also can do the classification with that. So with the classification, over time, we can see the transition between its land use and also land cover. So it's very important to just like checking the carbon emission from the land use and also land cover. Another example that we are doing here is for monitoring the water quality. So using the Sentinel-2 imagery, we can extract and we can calculate some water quality index, such as the stability and also the chlorophyll A index. For the air quality, we also have several data from the Sentinel-5P so we can get the concentration of NO2, SO2, and CO. So it is very important to have the very overview of the water and also the air from above. So Google Engine helps us just like very easy and also quick in order to see and to get insight from that. So as you can see here, this is the time-lapse imagery that I create from Google Engines. Very easy. You can just take the sample script and then select your area. So you can see that we can, based on this one, we can doing some analytics on it to define and to see the crop rotation. For this one, they did it in the US farmland. So you can see it how it changed recently, and also how about also the healthy of the vegetation also. The very important thing is not just for coding, but Google Engine gives you a power to building application, just like this one, in just around hours. So you can build an app like this with Google Earth Engine. So they will care about, you don't need to care about the server, you don't need to care about software or the data, you just need to focus on your idea and then using Google Engine to bring the value. Yep, this is another image is generated from the Sentinel-1. So you can see the black one is water. So you can see that how the irrigation work and also the flow of irrigation in the, this one is here in the Mekong River Delta. Another example here, so from the radar imagery, because of when the flooding happened, it's very cloudy, so we cannot take the optical imagery. So with this one, we can see it, using the radar imagery, we can see the water surface area. So to compare two periods of time, you can see that which area is affected by the flooding. So it's very important for the mitigation, for building the strategy and also the just like planning for the future. Recently, Google also announced the geospatial reasoning. So it's basically they're using AI model and LLM integrated with the GIS and remote sensing data. So you can chat with a bot, with a chatbot, so you can get information for the geospatial data. Just imagine that you want to see that, can you show me the latest image in Bangkok? So they will give you the map and the imagery instantly without any just knowledge about it. So this is some architecture that you can use. The first one, for the data, you can use your own data, for example, your farmland, and also you use the data from Google Earth Engine from the Google Map with also training model from the Vertex AI. So from that one, you got the output. So using the output, you can use that for visualization with a map. So it will bring a lot of value. Yep, so in order to building the sustainable world, we need some tool in order to just like monitor. So Google Engine is very powerful tool, and happy to share with you today. And if you need more information, I'm happy to share it. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Tin and Randy from Navigis. And next up, we are excited to have our showcase stage for the top 5 startups from Earth Katalyst, a 3-month sustainability fellowship co-organized by Google Cloud and Beacon VC. First up, we have AquaWise, a Thai-based startup who is on a mission to revolutionize aquaculture for water monitoring without physical sensors, but with the power of AI. Can we welcome together, put our hands together for AquaWise.
In a world shaken by global conflict, climate change, and significant demographic expansion, our food system has become more fragile than ever. But there's one industry stand out as a hope for humanity in this crisis: aquaculture, the fastest growing food sector worldwide that's capable of producing highly nutritious food with low amount of emission. This $300 billion industry has produced food for more than 1 billion people each year and has been recognized by the United Nations as the best way to help feed 10 billion people in the coming years. But today, insufficient practices like poor water management, root cause for most of our major problems in this industry, had raised enough yield to feed almost entire Southeast Asia for over a year. This drives our conviction. Without significant change, this industry won't be able to sustain the world food security. And we have stepped into entrepreneurship with one goal: to transform this overlooked bottleneck into a breakthrough, a small fix with global consequences, and we are committed to making it happen. But here's the challenge, that over 80% of farms in aquaculture today still operate without effective water monitoring. And the main reason came from cost and complexity of current solution available. And if we come to see on the existing option, a clear gap emerge. On one hand, IoT sensor could provide continuous tracking of water quality change, but the associated cost of installation, maintenance, and training place it beyond the reach for most of the farms globally. Or in another hand, water quality test kit, that while it's cheaper and accessible, it's labor intensive and fail to provide human-free continuous water monitoring, which is the thing that truly needed most. But it changes today. We are here to revolutionize aquaculture. Introducing AquaWise, an AI satellite-based water quality monitoring system that would enable millions of farms to track the crucial water parameter without expensive equipment. Farms can simply go to set up in our platform with a few clicks. The magic happens. By our system, we get a satellite data from selected area to analyze with our proprietary AI model trained from 10 years past data. And farm could track the crucial water parameter, receive the problem alert, and significantly reducing the risk. This in turn will help them to increase their productivity, improve their operation, and ultimately create more food for more people. Our technology has provided 16 times more coverage than most of water monitoring solutions in the world today. It was 10 times cheaper than IoT sensor and requires zero on-site intervention. Our best model has reached up to 95% of accuracy based on early test with our industry partner. And we're proud to announce that we have assembled a great team of co-founders from leading universities like Harvard, Manchester, and Chulalongkorn, who have experience working with both government and private sector. We have worked together through many projects, and we commit to making this happen. Today, just in 6 months, we had already created more than 1/3 of key parameters, and 3 of them already exceeding 80%. In less than 2 months after first version of MVP, we had already connected 10 plus of leading farms across the country, collaborate with national distinguished researchers, received the government interest by former Director General and board member of Thai Fishery Department, and received a huge support from Industry Federation. Recently, we have been honored to be selected to join Earth Tech Katalyst program by Google and Beacon VC, organization that share our mission and recognize the value of what we are building. We are on a major part of the huge mission to transform aquaculture and create a better future for billions. We are seeking for $5 million investment to do 4 main things. First, is to perfect our core technology that would be completely replace most of water monitoring solutions in the world today. Second, is to build a high-impact team to execute a blitzscaling growth plan. Third, is to achieve significant Thai market adoption. And finally, to create scalable business operation. And 2, first international market research of Indonesia and China, prepare for Series A. As we stand at this pivotal moment, we invite partners who share our belief in a sustainable future to join us. Together, we can unlock aquaculture's full potential, secure food for billions, and drive lasting change where it needed most. This is more than innovation, it's a movement, and the time to act is now. Happy to connect.
All right, a round of applause for Aqua Wise. Hopefully with you, we are wiser with our water. And next up, we have Arcadia, Singapore-based startup that is making it easier for companies to calculate their carbon emissions and credit, as well as leverage geospatial technologies to monitor large-scale nature products. Let's put our hands together to welcome Peter of Arcadia.
Thank you, thank you. Amazing to be here. Nice to meet you all. Okay, let's see. Arcadia. Hello, everyone. My name is Peter. I'm responsible for the tech and product of Arcadia. So we've been hearing a lot of bad news about climate change these days. We're all worried about it. At least I am. But also, let's how can we make technology, use technology to turn the tide in this fight against climate change? That is what I'm here to talk about. So, a lot of bad news lately, but let's talk about the opportunities. Do you know that 40% of all the carbon we need to capture, that we need to remove from the universe, can be captured by nature alone. But we are not doing it. 1 billion hectares of land is currently idle or degraded that can help us to capture this carbon. 13 million hectares in Thailand alone. We are abandoning our biggest weapon in this fight against climate change. Why? Right now, someone is walking through a forest with a pickboard and a measurement tape and trying to estimate the carbon of forest for multi-million dollar investment decisions. The results, error, and zero transparency. Without transparency, no trust. Without trust, no investments. Without investments, no carbon project. That is why we are here. How about if we could capture the data of every single hectare, of every single tree, of every single carbon atom in all of those trees, and monitor that in real time, exactly like Google is doing with web pages? That's why we are here. So, what are we actually doing? We are using LiDAR from space. We are using LiDAR from the sky, and we're using ground-based LiDAR as well. And combining that with the latest carbon science and AI to create a nature intelligence platform to empower climate decisions, carbon decisions, and community decisions. Getting ground truth is really essential for us. For this, we're using LiDAR, because with that, we can know everything of the tree. We can create a digital twin of the tree. We know the height, we know the dimensions, and not at least, we also know the carbon. Using LiDAR technology, we can do this 10 times faster than manual measurements, significantly more accurate, and we have found the hard way that only using satellites is vastly underestimating the amount of carbon in the forest in Southeast Asia. So, we are taking all our insights and we're putting it into our mission control for carbon project, Nature OS, where we can assess carbon potential, we can assess disturbances alerts, and we can monitor carbon project as a mission control center for everyone involved in the carbon space. And by combining traceability, transparency, and scalability, we can provide climate insights for governments, for corporations, and for NGOs. We are honored to partner with Google Earth Katalyst. We are using Google Earth Engine a lot for analyzing project, analyzing potential all around the world. We are also using them for getting weekly deforestation data, using radar that can penetrate clouds, which is a huge issue here in Southeast Asia. So we're very honored to be partnering with Google for all of this. So to round off, we have 6 years before the climate tipping points becomes irreversible. 6 years. The technology is there. The land is there. Only one thing is missing, and that is trust and transparency. With Arcadia, we are not only trying to build a company, we are trying to save ourselves and the planet. So if you want to be part of the biggest technology journey of our time, talk to us. Thank you.
Round of applause for Arcadia. So Peter is actually from Sweden. Thank you for joining us here in Bangkok. And next up, we have a Thai-based startup that is probably not a stranger to us. MoveMe is an on-demand ride-sharing platform that aims to make our journeys fast, enjoyable, but also greener. So let's put our hands together to welcome MoveMe.
สวัสดีครับ Thank you for having me. Okay. So the way we move is changing, and in the past, if you think about how you want to travel, you always think about like, I need to drive cars from point A to point B. But today, how we move is changing, and it's driven by urbanization. If you imagine, like, you could actually find everything you need within this 1 kilometer's radius from where we are today. The hospital is less than 8 kilometers, a condo is less than a kilometer, shopping, theaters, everything. So everything is close by, and that's driven by urbanization. And that's impact how we move, because how we move become a shorter distance. So McKinsey actually saying that 50 to 60% of the people, when they commute, is less than 8 kilometers. And that's showing that the way we move is changing, and it needs some kind of solution for short-term microtransit. So if you talk about the old paradigm, when you think about commuting, people will always think about two things. One is how much is it? And the other thing is how convenient is it? So the old paradigm's always talking about if you want something that is super cheap, it's not convenient, like a bus or a song tel. But if you want something that is convenient, then the price jump. For a taxi ride of 1 kilometer, it's actually quite expensive. And if you talk about other ride hailing, it's actually a better taxi service. It's more convenient, but it's even more expensive. So how does MoveMe solve this? The way we do this is actually focusing on sharing. So what MoveMe does is we have an algorithm to do dynamic pooling, and we group people who move into the same direction or similar direction into the same vehicles. So from the user perspective, they actually pay less because they share the cost with other passengers. And for us as a company, we actually gain more revenues from collecting from multiple groups at the same time. So these kind of technologies will enable us to tap into the market. And we are not only look at in Thailand, but also other countries in Southeast Asia. So to date, we have been operating since 2018. We have been serving about 20 million passenger trips. Every day, we operate about 800 electric vehicles, electric tuk-tuks. We also register greenhouse carbon saving with Thailand Greenhouse Organization, TGO, and so far we have certified carbon credit saving of 4,000. And we have been growing about 109% over the past 3 years. So behind all of these, there's actually three key technologies that actually help us to deliver these products. One is actually AI optimized route optimization. The other part is actually fleet management that connect everything together between the vehicles, drivers, users, and operators. And the last part is that we have the capabilities to design the vehicles. So we have the capability to design passenger electric tuk-tuks. We could also do electric cargo tuk-tuks. And the bottom pictures, that's what we believe could be the future of the next Songtao, that is electric. So in addition to these technologies, we actually make the solution better and more sustainable with electric vehicles. Besides using electric vehicles, we actually set up a charging infrastructure that use solar cells. We actually got a patent already where we could actually charge from solar direct to the vehicles without needing for inverters. And that is something that we developed to improve the sustainabilities. It's an honor to be part of this Earth Katalyst, and we have been loyal users of Google products. And in addition to using Google Maps where people think we use, we actually use a lot of Gemini product with the new AI technologies. We actually use these products to actually help reviews all the comments from users. So every time you type comments to MoveMe, we actually have AI to read it and summarize for us in terms of what should we be doing to develop our product further. We also do Google Analytics in terms of how is the user behave when they actually come into our apps, where's the drop off, how do they click, and so on. So for us, we think this is just a start for us. We just start with Bangkok. Within this year, we're going to start in other 2 cities in Thailand. And we believe that this kind of service could be expanded to other countries in Southeast Asia. So we're aiming that in late 2026 or 2027, we will be present outside of Thailand. So we believe we have the right products, the right models, and the right partners. So we have very strong partners to support us that have been with us since day one. From strategic partners that work with us both in terms of providing energies and fundings to many partners like property developers, universities, and so on. So with that, thank you.
Thank you. Move me. I feel like I need to always drag it out. Maybe you can consider taking one of their EV tuk-tuks on the way home. Thank you, Mick. And next up, we have from Indonesia, our startup Pasar Mikro that is looking to make a heavily trusted platform for transactions, embedded digital ledger, and traceability functions. So let's welcome Tien of Pasar Mikro.
Thank you, Esna. Sawadee krap. My name is Tien Wong. I'm from Pasar Mikro from Indonesia. Like you can see, our space here is in the agriculture. So we're doing an agricultural technology. Let's take a step back a little bit. So we heard a lot of amazing technology today, how satellite can see in the planetary scale, what we can see from the above and what we can see on the earth. But what we do in the Pasar Mikro, in the Agri Tech, we try to go step back a little bit and see what we have right now. What we support and our users are the micro heroes who are actually the farmers, but not just the farmers, but also the ecosystem. Because these farmers, when they sell the products, the rice, the coffee to you, usually it goes through a chain of traders or collectors or a buyer. So like what Esna from the Google Cloud today just shared to us, what's being challenging right now is the data collection. If we imagine right now with the thousands of farmers around, we sometimes do not know where they are, what they do, and how their financial is going. Right now, they still have the difficulty to access a certain financial access, market access, and so on. So there are a few things that's still lagging behind. So that's how we see the things. So there are something is missing. There's a gap here. That's what we do in Pasar Mikro. Many food sources like the farmers, we rely on them, but they are like being excluded from the digital. So we've seen that digital is really important to connect them. So in our mission to elevate these farmers and the ecosystem, we built a set of digital solution for them that can be accessed, of course, from the web, from the PC, and then from the mobile, because most farmers today, they already use mobile. They watch TikTok. They probably starting to use e-commerces. And some of them are using some messaging. It's very famous. We are from Indonesia. WhatsApp is very used widely from people in Indonesia. Everyone uses WhatsApp. So we use that to utilize and connect them with the technology. We've been around for 5 years, since 2020, 21. We got a few awards and been in the accelerator with the Google. And lately, we also work with the IKEA. And then we work with the supply chain of the IKEA, like Rottans and so on. What's important here, during the work around 5 years, we got around 6,000 farmers with us. And like what we see, these small farmers, there are around 400 million farmers around the world that produce around 1/3 of the food supply. So the food that we have, 1/3 of them came from small farmers. The more countries like us, like Indonesia or Thailand, we have more and more percentage of the smallholder, which is very massive fragmented, we don't have the data, and they have a low capacity to upgrade themselves, and they're mostly excluded from the digital. Our approach is from the partnership that we do with a certain big buyer or big company like you who have the supply chain. We start with the transactional, with the helping with them with the payment and finance, and we start to connect with these farmers. So we start to have a network of farmers, around 6,000 with us. Once we connect with them, then we can start to do more. We start to understand where the food came from, the traceability, and so on. And what's important is, once we know how to connect with them, then we start to connect with more technology. We start to add more data, satellite, and so on. So with the Google engine, right now the Google Earth engine, we connect with the satellite, we combine with your data, the supply chain. When you don't have the data, Pasar Micro came to connect the data from the ground until the farmers, and then we combine with the satellite. Then we know more where to actually get the data from. So we're basically open. If you're the company who get difficulties to understand your supply chain and have a gap there digitally, we are happy to help to connect. And then we can connect with the amazing technology to amplify that. We can show from the satellite with the Earth engine how's the situation of the land of your supply chain, or maybe from the aquaculture as well. So that's what we do. We open for the partnership. We start from Indonesia, but we are open for opportunity in other countries, like in Thailand. We are also raising some funds, maybe in the 6 months from now. If there are investors here who are interested to our product, we also open for the investment as well. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you at the end of Pasar Micro. Hopefully you have more micro heroes here in Thailand soon. And last but not least, we have the noisiest startup of our first cohort of us, Katalyst. Let's welcome Riff AI, whose mission is to bring space down to Earth. So their AI-powered geospatial platform aims to let any business solve planet-scale problems. So can you join me in welcoming Kolatat of Riff AI?
Hello everyone, we are Refi, and we are working to find a way to using AI technology to revolutionize the way we're working with environmental change in Earth observation. Every picture you're seeing right here take less than 6 months to show a drastic environmental shift. And right now, with environmental change, without proper monitoring, it is a multi-dimensional risk disruption to your business, assets, and operation. The problem is clear. Right now, productivity is lost because of climate change. The climate-related events are increasing in terms of severity, intensity, and frequency. And right now, $25 trillion is on the line from the net supply chain and losing every year from the disruption. There's a solution in the market. We can talking about drones, we can talking about UAV, we can talking about CCTV. These are remote sensing solutions in the market right now. But at the very same time, they have a challenge from coverage to cost to historical data or even sensor capability. And that's why Refi is coming into the picture. We are working on supplying a weather forecast, GS layer, satellite imaging, and AI model to developing a solution with AI-powered satellite solution that we're working here in Refi. Because the reason we be able to do all of this, because our proprietary technology, we're integrating several satellites from camera-based, radar, and other Earth observation satellite, from hyper to multispectral imaging with our AI model that we develop in-house in image recognition and time series analysis. And that's why we literally be able to identify a change in environment in Earth observation in extended period of times. With 20 satellite now network, 800 in parameter in training our model, and 97 accuracy in classification, quantification, and prediction, we are working with an amazing work here. In the past 3 months, we tried to pushing our limits and asking ourselves what is feasible with the way we work with technology. That's why we're working from detecting methane emission from open landfill and up to even a carbon capture and burn preventive strategy for our corporation in CCUS technology company. We have a platform demo, and we are working on a contract base and satellite as a service offerings, working with the wireless industry in industry agnostic. Let me tell a little bit of story about how we get here. Refi initially started as a Flash-based AI model. And with more research and model training, we literally found ourselves in a position that can explore in the wireless industry. An ultimate goal, we want to engage in satellite constellation. We can really revolutionize the way we work with Earth observation. We have support from the Global Innovation Science and Technology from the US State Department, from the US side like Math Challenge, including Panacrista in the UK, Google for Startups, and here in Southeast Asia from National Innovation Agency to DEPA under Digital Promotion Economy Agency. And behind Refi, we share an ambition. Let me reintroduce myself. My name is Katalyst. I'm a satellite data and GIS specialist. I used to work in asset management and digital infrastructure. And then together, I'm working a team from satellite, AI, drone, GIS, climate science, and Earth observation to really work with that. And thank you for the Google and Earth Katalyst. With support, we're really accelerating our mission to work in bringing space down to Earth with satellite and AI technology. Here at Refi, we have only one mission. We want to bring space down to Earth. We want to impact space and everyday life here on Earth on a planetary scale. And that's its mission for us, Refi. Thank you very much.
ลำดับถัดไปนะคะขอเรียนเชิญดร.วิชัย ณรงค์วณิชผู้ช่วยผู้จัดการใหญ่ธนาคารกสิกรไทยเพื่อมอบรางวัลให้กับสตาร์ทอัพทั้ง5รายค่ะขอเรียนเชิญค่ะและขอเรียนเชิญผู้แทนจาก Agri Tech นะคะเพื่อรับรางวัลค่ะ Please welcome representative from Acadia.ขอเรียนเชิญผู้แทนจาก Move Me ค่ะPlease welcome representative from Pasa Micro. และขอเรียนเชิญผู้แทนจาก Refi ค่ะและในลำดับถัดไปนะคะจะเป็นการถ่ายภาพที่ระลึกเพื่อเป็นเกียรติร่วมกันค่ะขอเรียนเชิญคุณธนพงษ์ นรนองกรรมการผู้จัดการ Beacon Venture Capital Miss Edna Ong ค่ะ Mr. Randy Marasikan and Mr. Tin on the stage ค่ะ
กสิกรไทยบริการทุกระดับประทับใจ